Guilty on 3 counts of forgery. That's the verdict a jury reached today against Portsmouth City Councilman Mark Whitaker.
But the legal battle doesn't end there. Whitaker's defense team is working to get that verdict set aside.
13 News Now reporter Jacqueline Lee brings us the details from Portsmouth.
Mark Whitaker's defense attorneys want the judge to set aside the jury's verdict because they argue the jury did not fully understand the law or the evidence presented. The prosecution called Mark Whitaker the center of the storm, the mastermind behind a forgery scheme that preyed on victim Kevin Blunt. Blunt is a contractor who worked with Whitaker on Whitaker's church redevelopment project. Blunt testified that he told Whitaker directly that he didn't want to take out any loans in his name to complete that project. However, evidence showed someone did it anyway. The prosecution said Whitaker was the only one who knew Blunt wouldn't play ball, putting Whitaker behind the forgery. The jury agreed.
It's not an unexpected verdict when you look at how this whole process has been.
During jury deliberation, they came back with a question. What is the legal definition of forgery? Defense attorney John Babineau said this is concerning after the court already gave them clear instruction.
In black and white, that provided them with the instructions that they needed to follow and the law that they needed to apply in the case.
Whitaker's sentencing hearing is scheduled for September 26th, and the judge will decide whether or not to set aside the verdict. Whitaker said he feels encouraged to push forward.
This is part of the process of a road that is long, winding, that leads to vindication and exoneration. And so, this is the fourth quarter, and we're going into overtime.
And to clarify, the jury did find Whitaker guilty, but Whitaker has not been convicted of anything. This means his position on city council is still intact, and he said he will be attending the next city council meeting. In Portsmouth, Jacqueline Lee, 13 News Now.
New at 6, the search for a suspected robber in Chesapeake is ramping up. Police released these surveillance photos from the smoke shop on Western Branch Boulevard. We told you about this last night on 13 News Now at 11. Police tell us this man went into the shop yesterday with a gun and took a display case filled with merchandise. He then got away in a red car with 3 other men. An employee at the shop followed the suspect and shot at the car as it took off. If you can help police crack this case, call the crime line.
Turning now to a developing story out of Chesapeake, where a bar fight turned into a homicide early this morning. Police say Eric Bachmeyer shot and killed Hector Clemente outside the Kelly's Tavern in Greenbrier. 13 News Now anchor Ernie LeBeau spoke to the victim's family.
He liked to hang out at the bar and joke around with people, have fun.
What was supposed to be a night of fun ended with Hector Clemente losing his life. I spoke to Clemente's brother Phil on the phone.
I was at 6 o'clock this morning. The last time I seen my brother behind a black car.
That's where Clemente's body lay after he was found shot to death. Just before 2 this morning, Chesapeake police responded to the Kelly's Tavern in the Greenbrier area for a shooting. Police say a fight broke out between Clemente and Eric Bachmeyer. Then outside of the restaurant, Bachmeyer shot and killed Clemente. Phil says this isn't the first time the 2 men have had an issue with each other. And Kelly's was a place his brother visited often.
Kelly's Tavern knew these 2 did not get along over the girlfriend.
He believes his brother's death could have been prevented.
Kelly's Tavern knew that people had issues, so they should have not either let one in or not let them both in at all.
I reached out to Kelly's Tavern several times today by phone. I was unable to reach anyone. In fact, the sign you see over my shoulder actually says the restaurant bar is closed until further notice. Reporting in Chesapeake, I'm Ernie LeBeau, 13 News Now.
New information tonight out of Norfolk, where the city is getting involved to stop cars from crashing into a business. We told you about M&G Sales, the Army-Navy surplus store on Granby Street just last week. It was the 3rd time in less than a year that a car hit that building. Today, crews from the city put up temporary barriers in front of the business. We're told the plan is to have permanent concrete planters in place eventually.
A youth church leader accused of sexually abusing a teenage boy made his first court appearance today. Kenneth Scott Marshall was arraigned on charges of aggravated sexual battery and forcible sodomy. 13 News Now reporter Allie Weatherton tells us what happened.
In an orange jumpsuit, 36-year-old Kenneth Scott Marshall smiled at his family and friends as he walked into the courtroom. His first words to the judge, "Please grant me bond." The judge says this is not a bond hearing and asked if he needed an attorney. Marshall said he'd hire his own. According to the sheriff's office, a month-long investigation led to a grand jury indictment for Marshall. The church youth leader now faces 2 charges of aggravated sexual battery of a minor and forcible sodomy of a minor. Authorities say they were notified about the incident involving a 15-year-old boy back in June. After Marshall's arraignment, his friends and family stood united. Hand in hand, they prayed, saying things like, quote, "We know the truth will prevail." I did reach out to Marshall's friends and family. They didn't want to talk. Now Marshall will be back in court on July 25th. In Matthews County, Allie Weatherton, 13 News Now.
Developing right now, at least 3 VA nursing homes in Hampton Roads are part of a larger federal investigation. It comes after the VA gave low ratings to almost half of its 133 nursing homes. The local ones are Carrington Place in Chesapeake, Coliseum Convalescent and Rehabilitation Center in Hampton, and Autumn Care in Suffolk. According to our partners at USA Today, patients in many VA nursing homes were more likely to have bed sores and pain than patients in private nursing homes. We showed this information to a local veteran.
Just makes you want to go out there and just take them out and bring them home.
Spokesperson for the Hampton VA tells us homes are rated based on staffing, health inspections, surveys, and quality measures, and that patients in VA homes are different than those in private homes and have more instances of mental illness and pain.
Right now, hundreds of Navy sailors are on their way back to Hampton Roads. The guided missile destroyer USS Laboon is set to pull into Naval Station Norfolk on Friday. The Navy sent us these photos from the ship's time overseas. The crew conducted maritime security operations in the Persian Gulf and the Mediterranean. These sailors have been away since late February. And the Laboon is just the first ship coming home this week. On Saturday, the USS Harry S. Truman Strike Group is coming back to Hampton Roads. We learned earlier this week that the group is returning to Norfolk 4 months sooner than it was supposed to. The group includes the carrier Truman as well as the Normandy, the Arleigh Burke, and the Forrest Sherman. The strike group is coming home early because of President Trump's new plan to make Navy deployments shorter and less predictable.